5 pro tips to age wood beams fast. Hey there DIYers and woodworkers, welcome back to the channel. You know, there's just something about the look of aged wood that adds warmth and character to a home. Whether it's a rustic farmhouse table or those heavy ceiling beams that weathered patina tells a story. But let's be honest, not all of us have 100 years to wait for wood to age naturally. From using natural elements like vinegar and sunlight to mastering the art of distressing with chains and torches, we'll explore a range of techniques to give your beams that authentic, aged look. So stick around, and by the end of this video you'll be a pro at turning brand new lumber into timeless treasures. This first technique is a classic, and for good reason. It's incredibly easy, uses common household ingredients, and gives you that beautiful aged patina that mimics the look of old barnwood. Grab a glass jar with a lid. An old pickle jar works great for this, and stuff a good handful of steel wool into it. Then pour the white vinegar into the jar, making sure the steel wool is completely submerged. We're going to let this mixture sit for at least 24 hours, and up to 48 hours if you want a more intense effect. Tannins are naturally occurring compounds found in wood, and they react with the iron in the steel wool to create that aged gray color. Once your solution is ready, it's time to age that wood. Put on some gloves. You don't want to stain your hands, and use a paintbrush or a rag to apply the solution liberally to your wood beam. It'll take about 30 minutes to a few hours for the full effect to develop, depending on the type of wood and the strength of your solution. And there you have it. The vinegar and steel wool method is a simple and effective way to give your wood beams that coveted aged look. Alright folks, if you're looking for a more dramatic aged look with tons of texture, then the torch and wire brush technique is right up your alley. This method is all about embracing the beauty of fire and using it to create a truly unique and rustic finish. For this technique, you'll need a propane torch, a wire brush, some sandpaper, and of course, your trusty safety gear gloves and eye protection. Hold the torch about 6 inches away from the surface of the wood, and move it in smooth, even strokes. The goal here isn't to set the wood on fire, but to lightly char the surface, creating those beautiful variations in color and texture. Once it's cool to the touch, grab your wire brush and start brushing along the grain of the wood. This will remove the soft, charred wood, revealing the deeper grain patterns and enhancing the aged effect. The torch and wire brush technique is a great way to add a bold, charred effect to your wood beams, perfect for rustic and industrial-style spaces. Chapter 3: Using Baking Soda and Sunlight. We're going to harness the power of the sun to create that beautiful sun-faded look that you often see on driftwood or old barnwood. And the best part? It only takes a few simple ingredients: baking soda, water, a paintbrush, and of course, good old sunshine. Start by mixing up a simple baking soda paste. Combine about half a cup of baking soda with 1 cup of water and stir until it's completely dissolved. Once your paste is ready, grab your paintbrush and apply it evenly to your wood beam. Place the beam in direct sunlight for optimal results. The sun's UV rays will react with the baking soda, causing the wood to lighten and develop that weathered, gray patina. Depending on the intensity of the sunlight, you'll need to leave the beam out for 6 to 8 hours, or even longer on cloudier days. The baking soda and sunlight method is a fantastic way to achieve a naturally weathered look without harsh chemicals or fancy tools. Chapter 4: The Chains, Nails and Hammer Method. This one's for the DIYers who aren't afraid to get a little rough and want to create those deep, authentic distress marks that tell a story. To get started, you'll need some heavy-duty chains, as well as a variety of nails and screws. You'll also need a hammer or mallet, and a chisel can come in handy for adding those finishing touches. Take those chains and whip them against the surface of the wood, creating natural-looking dents and dings. Next, grab your nails and screws and hammer them into the wood at random intervals. You can leave them in for a more rustic look, or remove them to create those telltale wormhole effects. Once you're satisfied with the level of distress, you can use a chisel to rough up the edges of the beam, creating chipped corners and a worn-out look. Finally, if you want to soften those harsh edges, give the beam a light sanding. The chains, nails, and hammer method is a surefire way to add character and history to your wood beams. Chapter 5: The Staining and Glazing Technique. This last technique is all about adding depth and richness to your aged wood beams. We're going to use a layering stain technique to create a beautiful multi-toned patina that mimics the look of naturally aged wood. For this technique, you'll need some wood stain in a dark brown or gray shade. This will be our base color. You'll also need an antique glaze, which will add that final touch of authenticity. Begin by applying the base stain to your wood beam. Make sure to apply the stain evenly, working it into the grain of the wood. Once you've covered the entire surface, let the stain dry completely. Now comes the fun part: glazing. Dip your brush into the antique glaze and apply it liberally to the wood. Wipe off any excess with a clean cloth. The staining and glazing technique is a fantastic way to add a professional touch to your aged wood beams. Chapter 7. The Tea and Vinegar Solution. Now here's an extra pro tip for you to achieve an authentic, aged wood look. This method combines the natural tannins in tea with the acidity of vinegar to create a unique rustic finish. It's simple, effective, and uses everyday household items. First, you'll need some black tea bags and white vinegar. Begin by brewing a strong cup of black tea. The darker, the better. Let the tea cool down completely. While the tea is cooling, take a jar and fill it with white vinegar. Add a handful of steel wool to the vinegar and let it sit for at least 24 hours. This will create a chemical reaction, producing a solution that will darken the wood. Once your tea and vinegar solutions are ready, start by applying the tea to your wood beam using a brush. Make sure to cover the entire surface evenly. Let the tea soak into the wood and dry completely. The tannins in the tea will react with the vinegar solution in the next step. Now take your vinegar and steel wool solution and apply it over the tea-coated wood. You'll notice the wood darkening almost immediately. This reaction gives the wood a beautifully aged, weathered look. If you want a darker finish, you can repeat the process until you achieve the desired shade. This technique is perfect for adding character and a vintage feel to your wood beams. Plus, it's a great way to use natural, non-toxic ingredients for your DIY projects. And there you have it, an extra pro tip to elevate your wood aging game. Give it a try and see the magic unfold. And there you have it, 5 innovative ways to age wood beams like a pro. We've covered everything from natural weathering techniques to more dramatic distressing methods, so you can choose the approach that best suits your style and skill level. Remember, the key to achieving that authentic aged look is to have fun, experiment, and don't be afraid to make it your own. If you enjoyed this video and found these tips helpful, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more DIY tutorials and woodworking inspiration. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. Until next time, keep crafting and happy building. And remember, the journey of crafting is just as rewarding as the final product. So, gather your tools, get creative, and start your next woodworking adventure today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.